Okay, so if this is working, then I should be live right about now. Hopefully that is the case. Okay, I'm checking YouTube right now. Okay, it looks like it is. Okay, perfect. And it is just up like that. Okay, excellent. I'll go ahead and share this link over to Twitter. This is going to be a really awkward replay. You know, if anyone starts at the very beginning of this video, it's mostly just going to be fluff. um, I'll go ahead and share this link. Huh. Well, according to YouTube, it says that 4 people are watching. So hello to anyone who might be lurking or watching. I'm not seeing any comments necessarily. But we'll see how that goes. Okay. And I'll go ahead and post that in KH3. Okay, then. So I see that there's quite a few people here. There's 5 people. No one's chatting anything. If any of you guys are here, feel free to, just say hello in the chat so that way I know. But we'll go ahead and get started. So my name is Skylar Fox. This is the C4D Nerd. I imagine that anyone who's here likely came here because they're subscribed to the channel. But anyway, just due to the reception that the recent video got, I decided to go ahead, and I figured it'd be fun to just kind of go over a little bit of the project with you guys and go over some of the making behind that. I don't know if I necessarily have anything in particular super planned, but if you guys have any questions, I will be sure to answer them. So, dang. Oh, hello there. Soravios. I probably completely butchered that name. I am very, very sorry, but thank you very much. And yeah, that's actually one of those things I'm really surprised about. I'm actually really surprised at how many people actually thought the trailer was real. I try to make them as much as I can. I mean, as you can see here, this is the model I made for Sora. Let me just refresh the materials so it looks a little better right now. There we go. And so this took me a little bit. This isn't the first time I've done a 3D model of Sora. I've made plenty of Kingdom Hearts videos with Sora. In fact, let me actually kind of go over and you'll kind of see some of the models that I've done before. So this was the very first model of Sora that I've ever done. And I actually I actually updated the hair recently because originally the hair didn't look anywhere near as good as this did. But this was the very first model that I ever did of Sora in his Kingdom Hearts 2 outfit. And so Rivius, so Rivius, so Rivius. Sorry, I feel like I'm still butchering it. But anyway, so this was the first model that I made of Sora, and you can kind of see a little bit of the difference. I made this years ago between, especially the faces from that one up to here. This one looks a lot more polished, a lot better. So I'm actually really happy with how this one turned out. Hello there, Waterblock. Good. He's actually a really good channel. He does a lot of KH Waterblock does a lot of good Minecraft recreations of a lot of Kingdom Hearts locations. So if you guys haven't already, I recommend checking him out. Yeah, so Project Estati's Bouncerama. So that was a big inspiration for this project. Someone suggesting super chat. You know, I would, except my channel is actually not approved for that, believe it or not. I actually don't earn AdSense at all on this channel. It's a very long story, but I won't necessarily go into all the details, but more or less back in 2012, AdSense was removed. And so it's, you know, I don't make any money off of my videos. I mean, I have a Patreon, which, you know, if you guys would like to support me, then you guys are more than welcome to check that out. It would be very much appreciated. But I don't necessarily make any money out of the videos through ad revenue or anything like that. In fact, there actually are ads playing on the video right now, but that's actually not by me. That was because YouTube auto copyright content ID'd the song from Project Estati, Bouncerama. So the money's actually going to them, which is kind of hilarious. But but yeah, so if anyone was wondering why there were ads playing on that, that's actually the reason for that. Let's see here. Pretty convincing until Pooh showed up. Yeah, I've heard that for a couple of comments. And the Winnie the Pooh model is actually a really old model that I did many years ago. Let me actually check the date in this. I made this model back in, oh gosh. So the Pooh model I made back in 2013, and I think it's the same with the Tigger model. So so you can kind of see a little bit of the Tigger. I'm actually surprised that more people aren't talking about how the Tigger model threw them off, because this was something that I didn't realize until much later. But the color palette for Winnie the Pooh's friends are a little inconsistent, even within Disney's own universe. And so, for example, Tigger, I'm always used to the version of Tigger that has him with the orange body and then the yellow for the eyes and for the chin and the chest area, all that kind of area, all that kind of stuff. But if you'll actually notice, a lot of the other clips of Winnie the Pooh, including the Kingdom Hearts model for Tigger, has it with the white skin as opposed to the yellow. So it tends to vary. And so I ended up actually making this model with the yellow as opposed to the white. So, which I thought would have been a dead giveaway, but no one's brought it up yet, which is kind of interesting. So let's see here. How long did it take to make this? So these models, a lot of them are actually, as I mentioned earlier, I made them years ago. Pardon me. So as I said before, the Tigger, let's see here. So yeah, the Tigger model was made in September 2013. And so just seen your clickbait video die, please. I don't feel like dying personally. You know, the really funny thing about that, though, is that I did not intend at all for that video to be clickbait. To me, I would have thought it would have been super obvious that it wasn't real just by looking at the title and thumbnail. I'm actually really surprised by how many people did think it was real, because, I mean, I wanted it to be a good video, right? I wanted, I'll actually go ahead and pull up the curse model right here. Here's Eornort, just since I saw the video right here. But yeah, I had no intention of anyone like this wasn't meant to be a, oh, I hope you guys believe this video. If anyone's seen my channel, you know that I've done a similar video in the past, and I'll actually go ahead and upload that, or show the project for that one as well, which is the it's the fake scene in which Aqua reunites with Ventus in the Chamber of Waking. And again, I also called that one, you know, Kingdom Hearts 3, Aqua reunites with Ventus. And that one was a shorter video. It was just a 15-second video. But it was meant to just be a bit of a parody of Samurai Jack. If anyone's seen the old Samurai Jack cartoons with Aku telling the bedtime stories of Jack, and there's one where Jack is is playing the role of Goldilocks, and so he's just destroying all the bears' homes and everything. And so the whole idea is that Aqua goes forth and he finds Ventus, and Ventus just goes, "Shut up! I'm trying to sleep," and he has the 5 o'clock shadow. So that whole thing was just meant to be a Samurai Jack parody, and there were a lot of people who were assuming that was real, but I don't know. It's kind of like when you see other animators on YouTube where they'll, like, I know people like oh gosh, like I'm just trying to think of names, but at the top of my head I can't think of any. But I know like old school animators. I mean, I'm just gonna throw the name around, like Egoraptor. I mean, not him specifically, but just a lot of other people. When they do parody videos, they just say the name of the character or the name of the franchise and then colon the name of the video. And that's kind of the way that I've sort of done them myself. So I just sort of do like, oh, it's based on, it's a parody on Kingdom Hearts 3. So Kingdom Hearts 3, Acre Reunites with Ventus, Kingdom Hearts 3, 100 Acre Wood trailer. So I never really intended for them to be clickbait per se, but it's really interesting. It's oh, it's here. Sorry, I'm just going back and reading through the chat again. Title is literally Kingdom Hearts 3, 100 Acre Wood. Okay, so yeah, so I kind of covered the reasoning behind the thumbnail is try hard as heck. Okay. I mean, all right. I mean, I don't know. I just don't care at that point. Like, if you're gonna be mad at it, then whatever. But I mean, the thumbnail was like the most improvised thing ever. It's literally just the last scene of the video when they're facing off against Eornort, and I just placed the Kingdom Hearts 3 logo on it. That's all I did. So I mean, I don't know. This wasn't intended to be a thumbnail. It was just like the last scene, like, oh no, it's going to be an Eeyore boss fight where Sora has to team up with Pooh and Tigger as his party members and fight Eeyore. I mean, that was the intention. I mean, I don't know. I guess in hindsight, I could have put in parentheses fan made or something, but I don't know. I just felt like that would have been a little cheeky, but I don't know. It is what it is. I would have thought my username would have given it away, but apparently not. Yeah, so that's kind of the story behind that. No matter, most likely would have fallen anyway. Yeah, I absolutely love that. And that was actually a couple of people have asked this in the video itself, but I've actually and a lot of people have figured this out. I've actually taken a lot of the audio from archived dialogue from Kingdom Hearts 2, because KH13.com actually has a lot of archived dialogue that you can download, which is really nice. It's really convenient. And so for Eeyore, I think the context in Kingdom Hearts 2 is that he was just talking to Piglet and his house was broken down, and he was like, oh, no matter, my house most likely would have fallen anyway. But in the context of this, you know, all I had to do was just take that line, and it just worked perfectly. So I was really happy with how that turned out. Let's see here. I saw another question here. Let's see here. An Eeyore boss fight would be pretty dope. Yeah, no, I would freaking love that. I really want to my favorite, like, I just kind of did this just for the heck of it. I was wondering, oh, should I just have Eeyore just stand there menacingly? But I'm like, no, let's just have him fly. I just thought that would be the perfect touch. But oh, what was it? Let's hear. I have a question. Not trying to be mean or anything. C4D could definitely handle much higher texture resolutions for what I saw. It should use such low res textures for render time's sake. So render time's sake is a big motivator behind a lot of what I do. As I said before, with these YouTube videos, I mean, I don't even make ad revenue off of them. So I really am just making them just for fun. You know, I mean, really, that's kind of the bare bones of it. And so, and my computer is actually really old. It's I've had this computer since 2011, and it's very, very outdated. And I've been due for an upgrade for a while. I just haven't been able to afford it. And this is actually an older version of Cinema 4D as well. It's R13. So I mean, it's not like it's definitely not modern software per se. But yeah, it certainly could have looked better. And actually, the very first scene, the one where I cut render time the most, really was the outdoors area where all the trees were, because those trees they ate up most of the render time, really, just through the shadows. And so I don't know if we can actually see, but I actually added a lot of compositing tags to them where I have ambient occlusion applied to everything except for most of the trees. And that was because and I won't render this now just because I feel like if I do, it's going to eat up a lot of my computer and it's going to potentially end the stream. So I don't necessarily want to do that right now. But if I was to render this right now, it would take about 12 minutes per frame. And this is on a segment that's only 215 frames. And that only ends when, you know, Pooh and Sora say hello to each other, and that's it. And so if I was to have it where everything had ambient occlusion, everything was super high res, then this thing would just have taken way too long to render. It would have taken probably an hour per frame, and it's not a case where I could really just leave this computer running for that long. I use this computer for a lot of other things, and so render time is definitely the biggest reason for a lot of things. So I hope that answers your question. Happy brain games. So Asante, Sana, Squash, Banana, wait, what? Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah. But yeah, you'll actually kind of see, like, as I'm just scrolling through the frames, it's kind of funny. The hardware is having a hard time handling it, and so it's starting to go just directly into a all poly mode where it's only showing everything as boxes right now. I think it's because I'm streaming right now. I think that's a large part of it. And so that was definitely a contributing factor. Let's go ahead and see here. I'm trying to find the scene where it actually opens up with the book itself. Sorry, I'm just streaming the application, so I'm going through folders right now. So if that's not showing up for you guys, then that would be why. Okay, I believe this is it. Yep, yeah. So this is the very first scene, and yeah. So this scene right here is just, of course, the very beginning of the video when Sora is just sort of falling through And this guy with just white behind him. Let's go ahead and turn on enhanced OpenGL. And you'll notice here, like the book, it's just the texture from Kingdom Hearts 1's 100 Acre Wood. It was just the easiest thing that I could find, and with everything as bright as it was, and with all the light that was coming out, wasn't like, you know, super noticeable to a lot of people. But I'm sure that anyone that really wanted to pay attention would have certainly noticed it. If I really wanted to, I could have probably redrawn everything, but as I said before, this video wasn't really intended to fool anyone. It was just intended to just kind of be a fun video. Let's see here. I love the environment, especially when all those Heartless were there. Oh, right. So that area, the with the skull, I can go ahead and pull that up. I know I'm kind of going out of sequential order over here. This one was really interesting, especially with all the Heartless that are over here. The Heartless Tornado actually really screwed with this scene a lot. In fact, what I ended up having to do was, because I had a lot of Heartless in here, I actually ended up taking the Heartless Tornado in a completely separate project. And it would just be the animation where the tornado would come up. The main reason for this was because even though it's a quick shot, I wanted each individual shadow to look decent. I didn't necessarily want just to have a black puff of smoke go up. I wanted it to be individual Heartless. But because of that, it was a lot of polygons. I mean, this entire thing is like, I mean, it's quite a lot. It's about, oh gosh, it's about 500,000 polygons. It's a lot. So it ate up a lot of the computer. And so what I ended up having to do is animate it separately. And then when it came time to actually render the scene, when everything else was animated, I just kind of pasted the Heartless Tornado right in the scene as it came up. I mean, shoot, I tried to skim over there, and because I'm streaming, it's having a hard time picking it up. Gosh, this is so laggy. But yeah, the nice thing about this was that I was actually able to recycle a lot of models that I had built previously, which has really helped streamline the whole process. So one of the videos that I've actually done before, which it's kind of sad that this one hasn't garnered as much traffic as I was hoping it would, but it was a video that I worked on for well over a year and a half, almost 2 years, and that video is called Tigger with a Machine Gun 3. Yes, it's called 3 because I made 3 of them. But this was actually it was like 15 or 16 minutes of a short, and it was this whole story. Like, it had a beginning, middle, and end. It was about Tigger, who was at least Tigger with a Machine Gun 3. It was about Tigger, who was this really old mercenary who was scarred from previous battles, and he didn't want to do anything anymore. But he finds out from his commissioner, which is of course Winnie the Pooh, that Piglet has been kidnapped, and the whole idea is that Tigger decides to go out of retirement just to save Piglet. And so that cave, which is Skull, is based off the cave from the film Pooh's Grand Adventure: The Search for Christopher Robin, which is a film about when Christopher Robin goes away and he leaves a letter saying that he's going to school, but all the characters misread it and they think it means skull, since they can't really read that well. And so they go on this grand journey to find this mysterious cave called Skull, which is a cave right here. You can't really see it can't really see it super well. Let me try refreshing the material, see if that does anything. Okay, so you can see it a little bit later, but it's essentially this cave that's shaped a lot like a skull in a way. I'm just gonna turn on the layer color to remove the textures, but you can see the um, you can kind of see the mouth, the nose, and the eyes and everything, and it's based loosely on the actual cave of the movie. And as you can see, the only thing that was really new was the Heartless. Other than that, the stage itself mostly stayed the same. I want to see if I can try to find the actual area from the actual. Yeah, so this is what it is in Tigger with the Machine Gun 3. And so it's under slightly different lighting. The other one was very dark and blue on this one. It doesn't quite look like this when it's rendered. When it's actually rendered out, it still looks a little blue, but it looks a little more musky, has a bit more of a fog to it, that sort of thing. Let me just check the chat really quick. Might post fights. Like I've always wanted to see Riku fight Cloud and Sora fight Ventus. Fights are hard. You know, fights are things that I've thought about before. It's you know, I mean, I've just from doing these videos, I was thinking, oh, it'd be super cool to do like a video where, you know, these characters are fighting, like Link fights Sora, or just something along those matters. But the I don't know. The big thing with fights is they do take an incredibly long time, and if you want them to really look good, they're kind of hard to pull off because there's a lot of weight that goes into fights, and even those who have been animating for years, like even those professionally in the industry. I mean, you look at a lot of fights in anime and even fight scenes in some video games, and a lot of them have problems to them. They're really hard to pull off, and I'll have smaller fight segments in my channel here and there, but I don't know. It's something that I've considered, but if I ever do a project like that, it would take a very long time. And considering my schedule, I don't know when I would ever get it done. Let's hear. Did you voice Sora? No, I did not voice Sora. No, Sora. What that was Haley Joel Osment. It was all I did was take for Sora. All I did was take archived audio from Kingdom Hearts 2, which you could find at KH13.com, and I just took audio clips from Sora, and that was it. And so, just placing them under different context really helped. And that was kind of the big thing. That was a fun aspect, was learning what to place certain voice clips on top of which, and that was a lot of what Tigger with the Machine Gun 3 was as well. Because Tigger the Machine Gun 3 was a 15-minute video, and I actually did do voice work in that video. I voiced the villains, which was the Heffalump and the Woozle. But Tigger, Piglet, Pooh, all those characters, I want to make sure that they had their original voices. So for Tigger with the Machine Gun 3, I actually had actual voice clips from all sorts of appearances, whether it was from the television shows from the 90s or the My Friends Tigger and Pooh show or the movies, even Kingdom Hearts, like all sorts of stuff. And it was really interesting. See, in Tigger with Machine Gun 3, it's actually kind of a mix between Paul Winchell and Jim Cummings, who was actually doing Tigger, because I've taken clips from all sorts of places. I see you skipping over my comments, man. You know it's the truth. Blender, no, I'm no. Yeah, not even gonna bother with that. And look, I've tried Blender. I really have. Blender's a good program for the fact that it's free. It's a really good free program, and for anyone who wants to start working in 3D, I would definitely recommend it. It is a very steep learning curve. I hate its layout. I mean, its layout is better than it was. It's still not that great. I still don't like it. it is a complete nightmare to navigate around. It's not for me personally. If you want to use it, then that's all good. But I personally can't stand it. Who voiced Sora? Yeah, that was Haley Joel Osment. That was from actual archived audio from Kingdom Hearts 2. So yeah, there was no additional voice work done for the 100 Acre Wood video, for the Kingdom Hearts 3 100 Acre Wood trailer. So yeah, that was that. Trying to think. Actually, yeah. So going back to the Tigger the Machine Gun 3, I mentioned that the villains were a Hefflump and a Woozle, and you'll probably recognize these models once I show them to you. So there's one of the villains right now. There's the Woozle, and then of course there's the Hefflump. And so you'll start to realize that again, I like to recycle a lot of sources for my Kingdom Hearts 3 video. Because for the Heartless, it was very simple. You know, all I had to do was take this Hefflump model, just turn him blue, give him like a Heartless symbol, give him yellow eyes, and then boom, it's a Heartless, you know, and it's great. And it was same with the Woozle over here. Although I had him take a more animalistic pose, and I obviously got rid of the hat. Let me actually go ahead and cut over to scene with those Heartless. I believe it should be scene 3. Actually, no, I think it's supposed to be scene 4 or 5. No, it's scene 5. Yeah. Well, scene 3 is just this little snippet where Sora's slicing in the air. So I believe scene 5 is where we have the Hefflumps here. Oh boy, this program's really getting slow now. I don't know if it's the stream or what. This is my first time live streaming, by the way, so I apologize if this is a little wonky. Check the chat really quick. A couple of retracted messages. All right, then. I will never know what you said. All right, so yeah, so over here we can see there's the Heartless over here. So yeah, it was just all I had to do was place the Heartless symbol, the little button over there, compared to the Hefflump right here. So not a whole lot of difference. But that's one of the things that's kind of helped me with this channel, at least upload as consistently as I do. I don't always hit it, but I like to try to upload to this channel on a monthly basis, and recycling resources is definitely one of those that helps in that process. There's poor little Piglet over there in the middle. Yeah, getting in trouble. Boy, this is getting really laggy. I'm not sure why. It says I'll need to look at the activity monitor. It's probably the stream. That's what I'm willing to bet. What's your new request? Did you make this Sora model? Yes, I made this model. Yeah, it definitely is not the official Kingdom Hearts 3 Sora model in any way. I mean, it's not even built to be run in the game engine. It's got too many polygons to even run smoothly as a character model. But yeah, it was it's the third or fourth model of Sora that I've done in my time of doing animations. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think one of the hardest things about doing the Sora model for Kingdom Hearts 3 actually was just trying to find all the references for his clothing and everything. Because with previous Soras, like Kingdom Hearts 1 Sora and Kingdom Hearts 2 Sora, since the games have been out for a while, we have all sorts of reference images. And I mean, you could just up and play the game to turn the camera around and see exactly what it is that you need. But with Kingdom Hearts 3 Sora, all I had were the official renders, which usually just showed the front of his body. And I would have to just kind of skim through the trailers and just try to find a good, clean shot of anywhere in his back. I was really worried about the back because I was trying to figure out, is there anything in the back of his jacket or is it really just bare? And I was really just trying to figure that out. And from everything that I saw in the trailer, there isn't anything there, which is fine. And I mean, if there is supposed to be something there, then no one's pointed it out, at least, so that's nice. His gloves were also really interesting because and I knew that there was always something off, but I had a bit of a hard time figuring out how to do the gloves because when you actually look at the reference of Sora's model, they cut off at the edge of the fingers there, but then the rest of it go all the way past his thumb. I don't even know if that's a real thing, if fingerless gloves like that are real, because it's not even just that it's fingerless, it's because Kingdom Hearts 2 Sora's gloves were fingerless, but this is almost like palmless. It's really strange, but it's interesting. Let's see here. Did you make them all in C4D or use some other program like ZBrush? Nope, I just use Cinema 4D. I do not have ZBrush, so and later versions of Cinema 4D actually do have sculpting modes, which is really nice. But as I said, I'm using an older version. This is just R13, and so it doesn't have that capability. Did you get my comment about doing a Harry Potter / Wizarding World trailer? No, I don't think I did. I'm assuming it was on the trailer video. There were a lot of comments there. I was kind of overwhelmed, so I haven't had a chance to actually look at all of them. I try to look at as many as I can, but there got to be a lot. But is there more context to that comment, or just are you just talking about like doing like a crossover or something with that's what I'm assuming. I'm just not entirely sure. Just turn the camera around and yeah, you can see that Pooh and Tigger. They're shook. And Tigger's pretty mad though. Those eyebrows. Okay, you're just gonna post that. Okay. All right. Now, part of this is due to the hardware, and I'm sure a large part of this is due to the stream because it normally doesn't lag this much. But because I tend to work under these hardware conditions, animation kind of gets a little tricky. So a lot of what I do, especially like for Sora's battle pose, I usually animate these outside of this individual project. So, for example, I would probably just take. Oh, pardon me. I was trying to hiccup for a little bit there. So, for example, I would sort of just isolate the Sora model just right here, and just copy and paste them into a new project, and it's a lot smoother to animate because the frames are a lot smoother. There's just not a. It doesn't have the computer doesn't have to calculate everything that's going on right here. It's just Sora. Which I think I mentioned earlier when I talked about the Heartless Tornado, because that one definitely needed to be isolated by itself. Let's see here. This may be totally random to you, but I'm curious. Back like 10 years ago, there was this guy who used to be featured on game trailers. He would make insane fight videos out of Final Fantasy characters. Do you remember that, or were you ever inspired by that? Trying to think. Oh, are you talking about Dead Fantasy? Is that what you're talking about? Um, I'm assuming that's what that is because that's the only thing that comes to mind that's similar to that. I was aware of it. I never actually watched all of the Dead Fantasy videos, but they were really interesting. Wasn't that I'm really uneducated on this, but wasn't that Monty I think the guy who eventually went on to create Ruby, I think was who pioneered that. I could be totally wrong on that, so um, just throwing that out there. But yeah, but I have seen because I think Dead Fantasy, that's the one where it had like redesigns for Kyrie and Namine, and they had like their own keyblades or something, and sometimes even they would fight. Um, so I believe. Okay, yeah. So I wouldn't list. I don't know if I would list Dead Fantasy as a direct inspiration. Um, I mean, they were definitely cool videos, and I thought it was neat that they did them. Honestly, my inspiration was started just when I was a little kid. I mean, I grew up in the mid '90s. Like I was born in 1994 and grew up. I mean, really, I grew up on material from like the late '90s and everything, and that was really the big push for computer animation and 3D animation. And I remember growing up on um, all sorts of stuff. I mean, at that time, we were growing up on the Star Wars prequels, which, in hindsight, growing up, they plot wise, those films had a lot of problems. I won't get into that. I know Star Wars is kind of a controversial topic now. Um, but I would say that was definitely an inspiration. Even shows like Roly Poly Oly, which was like a fully 3D animated show about robots that played on Playhouse Disney, that would be cited as an inspiration. That was actually one of those things that really wanted me to get into 3D animation specifically and think, oh my gosh, that's really cool that they have this. Because 3D animation was really appealing to me because it was sort of like what claymation was doing, but digitally. And you had a lot more tools to kind of help smooth out the process. And that was one of those things that was really fascinating to me. And obviously, I was inspired by hand-drawn animations as well, all sorts of cartoons. Disney, I was a huge Disney kid when I grew up. In fact, Disney was the reason that I got into Kingdom Hearts, as I'm sure it was for a lot of people. But yeah, it was more of those shows that were more of an inspiration. Although seeing things like Dead Fantasy and seeing that people were going out and just doing their own things, and just posting their own videos, I mean that definitely added to the idea of, yeah, this is something I can definitely keep doing for fun. But the inspiration for pursuing animation and pursuing modeling and all that stuff, that wasn't a direct result of Dead Fantasy. So hopefully that answers the question. Okay, so you got the comment. If you and everyone reading this could please pray that they actually end up doing something like this in Kingdom Hearts 3 and make a Harry Potter Wizarding World reveal trailer in time for Crimes of Grindelwald's release on November 16th. I'd be truly grateful. Appreciate it. All right, then. Yeah, not sure if that's going to happen anytime soon, buddy. But there's definitely a lot of licensing issues with that. I actually didn't even see the last Fantastic Beasts movie, so I don't know how it is. I've heard it was all right, but I don't know. After Deathly Hallows Part 2, I just kind of sort of fell out of the whole Harry Potter community. I don't dislike it or anything. It's just, I'm just kind of not into it anymore. I don't know. To me, the series just kind of ended, and that was sort of it. Let's see here. I actually thought it was real during the first and 10 seconds. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm always surprised whenever I see comments like that. I'm not sure if that says more about me or if that says more about Square Enix, but because I've seen people talk smack about the official Kingdom Hearts 3 trailers, and I don't necessarily agree with most of their criticisms, to be honest. Personally, I think a lot of the complaints that are done at the official trailers are because we've seen these characters in a PlayStation 2 era for the longest time, and it's a little jarring to see anything that's even remotely different from it. And so that's where I think most of it comes from. Not to say that there aren't some valid criticisms, there definitely can be. In fact, I'm working on a video on my other channel, Nerd Odyssey, in which I kind of criticize um, an aspect of not Kingdom Hearts, but of a Final Fantasy game, which I will be um, uploading soon. It'll be about Final Fantasy X if anyone's curious. Um, but I don't know. I've really enjoyed what I've seen with Kingdom Hearts 3, and I'm really looking forward to it. Um, and I didn't think that Square Enix would ever make an official trailer just dedicated to Winnie the Pooh, so I figured this would be the perfect opportunity just to make this joke trailer, you know? Even if they do end up releasing an official trailer just for Winnie the Pooh, it's like, whatever, this will still be around and it'll still be hilarious. But although from what I understand, I would be surprised if it didn't come back. I mean, it was kind of a staple in Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, but if I'm remembering correctly, the database that leaked out the Monsters Incorporated screenshots, like the actual real ones that everyone thought they were fake because, you know, no one believed in leaks back then, but they were obviously real. That same database had a folder of like location models, and the folder was PO. And modders who have modded previous Kingdom Hearts games like Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2, normally PO is a label for Pooh. So if that's any indication to go by, I'm sure we'll probably get a Winnie the Pooh world. It could very well be possible that they cancel it and, you know, they change plans and Winnie the Pooh's not in Kingdom Hearts 3, but I would be kind of surprised personally, but that's just my personal opinion on it. And it'd be kind of cool if that did come true, to sort of compare back and forth between this video. I'm sure that theirs is going to look a million times better, but, you know, it's cool. Okay, I think I caught up on the comment section here, which is good. Well, I guess I can talk about what sparked this scene. I mean, this scene, obviously, it's a direct reference to Aqua and that Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer. As I'm sure was the case for many of you, I was very, very surprised that they decided to go that direction with Aqua. And I actually really like the twist personally. I know a lot of people who aren't a fan of it. I actually really like it because it's one of the few times where I was genuinely surprised by something that was, you know, brought up in the Kingdom Hearts 3 story, because until they showed Aqua, the story for Kingdom Hearts 3 was kind of predictable for most people because Dream Drop Distance just set everything up. It's like, okay, we're going to need to find the 7 Guardians of Light and the 13 Seekers of Darkness, and everyone just kind of assumed they knew who it was. But then now that they threw in this curveball with Aqua, it's like now anything is possible, and that was sort of one of my favorite parts about that trailer. And so of course it ended up surprising a lot of people, and a lot of people kind of had an emotional response to that, and of course Eeyore was just the easiest target. And for the longest time I actually couldn't decide. I knew when I was making this video, I knew it had to end with one of the characters as a Xehanort. I couldn't. I think originally I was going to make it Winnie the Pooh, just because it would be like, oh well, he's like Sora's, you know, like out of all the characters, he knows Sora the best. But the but Eeyore just kind of made more sense from a character standpoint. You know, he's kind of already depressed, and so, you know, he would be susceptible to the darkness. You know, if Xehanort was to come along and take him, I don't know if Eeyore would realistically stand much of a chance. And so, but I don't know. I just had so much fun doing this this particular segment. I'm really glad that a lot of people are having fun sharing it and talking about it. Just how angry Sora gets. Yeah. I think I've talked most about the video. I don't know if there's much of anything else to discuss. I don't know. Are there any other questions, any other things that people want to know? If not, I'll probably just end the stream pretty soon. This is just sort of a fun impromptu look at how a lot of these are made. R3 Draw Studios. Ah, you're here. Hello. How's it going? Yeah, I'd actually recommend you guys check out R3 Draw Studios. He's working on a fan game in Unreal Engine 4 right now. It's like a it's going to be a multiplayer game that he's working on. And it looks pretty cool. It's definitely a work in progress, but I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes next. So you guys should definitely check him out. Are you on any of the Kingdom Hearts forums by chance? I'm not active on the forums as much as I used to, but back in the day, I used to be fairly active in the KH Insider community. KH Insider was actually the very first forum that I ever joined. That was, oh gosh, I think I joined that in 2004. And I was a kid back then, just so you know. Like, as I said earlier, I was born in '94, so like, you know, I was only about 10 years old or so. So I mean, realistically, I probably shouldn't have been in a forum at that time, but I was. I don't even remember what brought me into it, but I used to be fairly active in KH Insider. Not so much anymore. And it's not like I ever avoid them. I think it's just because of life. You just get older, and there's a lot of things that take up your time, and especially social media. I mean, I feel like social media in general has kind of hurt a lot of forums, because forums kind of get replaced by by groups that you'd find on Facebook or Twitter or whatever. Also, have you heard of the KHR? KHR? I don't think so. Is that short for like Kingdom Hearts Remake, or like I'm not 100% sure what that is. Keyblade. Gosh. I don't think I ever changed. Actually, speaking of the Keyblade, I don't think I've ever changed this Keyblade model ever since I first built it. There's not really a need to. It's so simple of a design. It like really doesn't need to be changed. Let's see if I can actually pull it up. Yeah, I made the Keyblade model back in 2012, and yeah, I haven't changed it since. And yeah, and as I said before, a lot of that's just because there's no real need to. It's like, you know, unlike humans or living creatures, you know, physical models are much easier to do. They're certainly a lot easier to animate, that's for sure. All right, anything on the chat on KHR? Nothing like that? Nope. Okay. Whoops. Oh, I left a lot of this on. Actually, scratch that. I did change one thing for this video, and that was the material for the metal of the Keyblade, I actually did make it a little bit darker and have a higher contrast, because you'll notice in the actual Kingdom Hearts 3 trailers, uh, the Keyblade actually does have that. I mean, shoot, there's the scene where like Sora is running up a wall to face the Rock Titan, and there are times where under the right lighting, his Keyblade almost looks black. And realistically, that is how, if that was made of real metal, that is how that would look. And I've seen some people criticize that look. I actually think that actually is fairly accurate to how it should look. But ever since getting that exact reference, I was like, okay, I'll go ahead and change just the material of the Keyblade. I mean, everything else is the same, the keychain, the actual model itself. All that is fine. Kingdom Hearts RPG roleplay. Is this like a reference to something specific, or just like role playing in general? I don't know. I mean, I know like people like to go on group chats or whatever, and they like to role play certain characters. That's a thing in a lot of communities. I'm not sure if this is speaking about something specific that I should or should not be aware of. Oh, Kingdom Hearts remake project. Um, I've heard of you're talking about fan projects, because I've heard like it's a YouTube channel. I'm gonna go look that up really quick. So Kingdom Hearts remake project. Because I've seen people attempt to make a remake of Days, and I've seen people make fan games with like there was a fan game of a Kyrie or something like that. How to bring the old Disney back in a new way. The Kingdom Hearts reboot. Okay. Okay, so I think I've seen the video "How to Bring the Old Disney Back in a New Way." I think I've seen that before. Um, or if I have, well, okay, it looks familiar, but yeah, it wasn't anything that I looked too deep into it. Oh, so you were part of the Days HD team. Okay, awesome. Actually, wait a second. I think I knew that. Maybe I did. Sorry, my mind's just kind of all over the place. Yeah, I'll have to look at that a little bit more later. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I know I've seen I mean, there's been a lot of really good fan made stuff in the Kingdom Hearts community, especially the past year. Everyone's excited for Kingdom Hearts 3, and so it's actually been really really exciting. It's one of the more exciting things that that have been going on. I know, like I think it was I think it's Caleb Moore, um, who made a lot of the Kingdom Hearts locations, like a lot of the models, like Traverse Town and Destiny Islands, and Traverse Town, Destiny Islands in the Unreal Engine 4, and those are really cool. Um, we got hit by Square. Oh, really? Square officially got you guys? Oh, that sucks. So yeah, so it is Caleb Moore. Yeah, so yeah, he's really cool. He actually, oh, Oh, funnily enough, he actually just sent me a message on Twitter. Right, was it right as I'm talking about him? Huh. That's nice. I gotta say, I'm really grateful for a lot of the support and a lot of the feedback that has come since making this. It's actually been a little overwhelming in one way, because I've typically, um, especially with the way that modern YouTube works, even with a channel like that has 4,000 subscribers, it's very easy to just not get that much traction at all. And so this was definitely a very pleasant surprise. Um, couldn't remake it like C4D Nerd did with a fan game. He linked in a comment. Um, oh wait, are you talking about the Oh, wait a second. Okay, so the fan game that I linked in my comment, I think I know what you're talking about. No, that was one of my friends, one of my old friends, Virus Chris. He and I knew each other specifically through the RPG Maker community, and we were both making games on RPG Maker XP. And so I actually made a Kingdom Hearts fan game way back in the day. Like, I actually made it back in 2009. So this was before Birth by Sleep and everything came out. So, and the game is supposed to take place like far into the future, like 20 years after Kingdom Hearts 2. And so and it stars mostly new characters, but yeah, so that wasn't really a remake project. That was just a fan. That was just a little RPG Maker fan game, and I did complete it. I mean, the game's like 20 hours long. It's a decent length, but at the same time, it was back in 2009, and I was still a young teenager when I finished it. So, don't like I was a freshman in high school when that got finished. And so I actually started it back in 2007, I think. So shortly after Kingdom Hearts 2 came out. So I mean, if you guys ever want to check it out, I mean, just go to my channel, look up KH3 intro, which is short for Kingdom Hearts Generation of Guardians. And it'll have a link to the game that you can download, and a link to the runtime package to install, so that way you can play it. And that's if you guys are interested in playing it. Like I said, it was a game I made a long time ago, and so I think it holds up in some ways, but in a lot of ways, it's definitely a product of its time. um, would you ever remake it or do another fan game? I've thought about it, to be honest. I really have, and specifically about remaking it, because there are a lot of things that I am nostalgic for in that project. But with the way that the main story of Kingdom Hearts has gone, especially since Birth by Sleep has released and Dream Drop Distance has released, and we're about to get Kingdom Hearts 3, it just wouldn't. I don't know. I think it would be a little too contrasting with what's actually going on in the Kingdom Hearts community as a whole. What program is that you're using? So this is Cinema 4D, and this is actually an older version of Cinema 4D. I think I've shown this about 3 times now in the stream, but this is R13, and I think currently they're on release 18 or 19. Actually, I think it's 19. Let me check. It's been so long since I upgrade. Yeah, they're on release 19 right now, and so I'm quite a bit behind. But well, thank you very much. Glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, I realized so far I'm kind of at the point of the video where I'm starting to repeat a lot of stuff, so I apologize for that. But I know there's a lot of people that came here a little later. Or make your own DLC world that connects to Kingdom Hearts 3. Okay. Help me figure out how to do some animations better. Nah, you're not in my debt. Nah, you're doing really good stuff. But yeah, I think that's just about it for this. Oh, I think I zoomed out a little bit more on that. There we go. This face. This face says it all. Or hold on. This face. This face says it all. Yeah, sure, man. Yeah, go ahead and link me to. Yeah, I think I'm a part of a lot of Discord groups now, actually. But yeah, no, yeah, yeah. Shoot me a link, and yeah, I'll definitely check it out. See if I can make it better. Yeah, there we go. This face. This face truly says it all. See, this is really what the thumbnail should have been. Now I think about it, it's just a face of Pooh making the this face on the thumbnail, and it'll just be like, oh my gosh, Pooh's reaction to the Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer. Gosh. Oh, people actually did do reaction videos to this? No, I didn't. I had no idea if they did or not. That's oh, so someone did. I see that. Okay. A couple people did, it looks like. Oh shoot, yeah, there's like 3 people that did, yeah. Interesting. I'll have to check that out in a little bit. Yeah, right now I set the stream up so that way it's only recording what I'm seeing, or it's only recording this specific application as opposed to my entire screen. So, so I apologize if there's long stretches where it's just this face. Should do more reveal trailers like this before Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out. Maybe, you know, nothing's set in stone. And there's a couple other projects that I like to work on as well. You know, I mean, I mean, a lot of my animations are, of course, on Kingdom Hearts. If you check out my channel, but I try not to be exclusively Kingdom Hearts if I can help it. I think it's just with the release of Kingdom Hearts 3 coming soon, it's a lot of just what's on my mind. Outside of Star Wars, but if I make anything remotely related to Star Wars, it's going to be extremely controversial. So you know, yeah, I just don't know. You know, I think that this was the big idea that I just kind of had in my head, and I don't know. There's nothing really speaking to me right now, but who knows? That can change from time to time. And this video did take like about 48, 50 days or so. About I think it was about 48 days. I think I counted it from the day that I actually started the very first scene. I think it was 48 days, but and that's excluding making the character models. And so it's, I don't know. We'll see. It's definitely something that I'm open for. Geez, yeah, exactly. Yeah, these things take a lot of time. And there are a couple of professional videos I'm also trying to work on as well and trying to get done. So we'll see. Of your animation. Oh, thank you, Chaotic Hertz. I think it's Hearts. Chaotic Hearts, probably. Actually, it's probably just Hearts with a Z. And you timed it coincidentally with Christopher Robin's release. That part wasn't actually coincidental. I actually did want to time it along with Christopher Robin's release because I actually was looking forward to that movie. I haven't seen it yet. I'll probably see it tomorrow or Monday. Probably Monday, to be honest. I don't like going to the movie theaters on weekends just because it's always packed and busy and it's just a nightmare. I mean, like going on the weekdays is actually fantastic because no one's there. But yeah, I'll definitely be seeing that movie sometime soon. It looks really good. I'm really excited for it. But yeah, no, I did actually. I worked on this. I had the idea for a few months when they started making a lot of the trailers for Christopher Robin, and I did know that the release date was early August. And I was thinking, okay, if I work on this now, I could probably get it finished just before it hits theaters. And I was able to, sure enough, get it finished just a week before it hit theaters. And so that was nice. Kind of made for a nice little. In hindsight, I realized that's probably why a lot of people consider it clickbait, is because that would be a facet that people would think, oh, Kingdom Hearts would announce something like this along the right when the movie is coming out, but which wasn't even something I was really I don't know. When I was making this video, I mentioned this a long time ago earlier in the stream, but I really wasn't making this with clickbait in mind. It was just making a funny video, and I mean, if people felt it was clickbait, then I mean, sorry. I don't know what else to say. I mean, as I mentioned earlier, I don't make a single dime off these videos. Like I don't get ad revenue, so it's not like I have anything to gain from that. So I suggest to join another world reveal before something related to it comes out. Yeah, I just don't know what I'd do. Nothing's particularly grabbing me right now, but we'll see. I don't know. I might do a parody of I might do a video called Kingdom Hearts 3 Final Boss. And it would be something silly like Walt Disney or something. I don't know. I'm so flippin' happy because when Kingdom Hearts 3 finished the Xehanort Saga will and be something new, what would it be? Kingdom Hearts 4. Yeah, I'm really excited for what would come after Kingdom Hearts 3 as well. Yeah, I'm really excited to see how the Xehanort Saga is going to end, and I'm really excited to see where they'll take the series after that. You know, it'll be interesting. I'm assuming the yes, because I know there's a delay in the stream. I'm assuming the yeses are for the Walt Disney comments. I don't know. We'll see. I might make that. It depends on how busy I am or not. Luckily, I'm out of school right now. I just finished my semester a couple weeks ago, so I have a little bit of a break until school starts soon. But you know. I think I'm fine with just this stream just focusing on Pooh's face like this. I think that this should just be the default thumbnail, Mary Poppins. We'll see. If I did Mary Poppins, then no one will believe it because Nomura went on record saying there's not going to be a Mary Poppins world or anything. So, I mean, that could be fun to make. I don't know. Live action's hard to do though. Like creating live action stuff, it's really hard to animate, especially. And I definitely learned that the hard way when I was making my my Last Jedi parody with Master Ericus and Ventus, which I can actually go ahead and pull up that project now I'm thinking about it. Let me see. Oh, it's under Land of Departure. That's right. So yeah, so this is the it's kind of a look behind the last Keyblade Master video, and yeah, I was trying to recreate the scene with Luke Skywalker's final flashback with Ben Solo, and because I thought it fit, it fit especially with Master Ericus's character, and both characters were voiced and performed by Mark Hamill, and but yeah, when making this video, I really realized how difficult it is to try to recreate something that was done in live action, just the little subtleties and the movement of the face. Because when you actually looked at the footage of Mark Hamill, it's not like he changes his face that much, but it's subtle enough to where you can really feel the emotional weight that's going on internally in his head. He did a great job. Like Mark Hamill did a fantastic job. He's a great actor. But I think I definitely learned why it is that most studios like to just motion capture this, because it is hard to recreate a movement like that. That was a really cool video. I actually thought it was a real trailer. Well, thank you again. Thank you. I appreciate the kind words. Oh, yeah, so there he is. And look at those eyes. Look at those bloodthirsty eyes. He's going in for the kill. Yeah, he knows what's going to happen. And he just got that look of regret. Yeah, this was arguably probably a somewhat more difficult. I wouldn't say it's more difficult overall, but it was somewhat more difficult, at least with the facial animation, to do than the 100 Acre Wood one. Because the 100 Acre Wood one, I mean, it's so cartoony that it you know, the subtle nuances of facial animation don't quite matter nearly as much as something as, say, a Last Jedi parody. But anyway, that was just kind of a quick look at that. Thought it was real even after I watched the whole thing. Oh, dang. Because Aqua fall in the darkness and is zorded by Zahanort. Sorry, I couldn't help but read it as it was, but yeah, no, yeah, everyone was talking about Aqua, and you know, if there's one thing that I'm really happy to note, it is that Eornort has gotten people to focus less on Aqua and more on Eeyore. You know, now it's see, Eeyore's the more tragic character. I mean, he's innocent. I mean, just look at those gloomy eyes. And he doesn't look like he's too happy. Although I guess he is smiling in this pose. So, I mean, I guess he is pretty happy being where he's at. Let's see here. Hey guys, what is going on? Oh, it is going pretty good. Yeah, I was going over a lot of the specific scenes with the project for the 100 Acre Wood video. Now it's kind of sporadic. It's kind of all over the place. This is a pretty casual stream, so I'm just kind of talking about whatever in regards to these projects. But yeah, so here we got Eornort. He's looking too happy here. Let's put a frown on there. See, now Eeyore, he's shook. He's really shook. A donkey named Eeyore got Norded. That he did. It's sad. You know, it's very sad. You know, I mean, you know, Master Xehanort, he just walked forward and he's like, yes. He looked at that donkey and he's like, yes, this is what I need. This is what's missing. This is the final 13th darkness. This is what I need. He gave Eeyore this really evil smile. He gave him this look. This was the look he gave Eeyore. He's like, oh my gosh. Like, yes. Yes. Here is what I need for the Keyblade. Keyblade. Sorry. Rest in peace, Leonard Nimoy. I'm really curious who they're going to get for Master Xehanort. I have, like, I'm really anxious about that. Because, like, he hasn't been in any of the trailers at all, and I'm just trying to figure out what they plan on doing. Because it wasn't just Leonard Nimoy, but it was the I forget his name, but it was the Japanese actor as well that passed away, and so it's going to be interesting. Give me your darkness, boy. Gosh. Yeah. Didn't realize it was fan made until about 30 seconds. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm always surprised whenever I hear people say that because, you know, I mean, it's definitely uplifting. So it's a good thing. I do appreciate it. Samuel L. Jackson for Master Saint Art. I don't know. I don't know if you would like that very much. There we go. Now this is the face. This is the face that we need. Do I actually have lighting on here? I'm just curious. No, I actually set up just a temporary lighting thing right here. There we go. I really love this video. A friend of mine, even after watching it, thought it was real. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it. It's really funny. It's I can just imagine because for me, for someone that's made it, you know, I mean, I can never look at it beyond just, you know, something I made, and so it's funny to think about what it would be like in the perspective of someone just watching this and having no context whatsoever. You know, that's the portion of the experience that I wouldn't ever be able to get, but it's fun. It's fun seeing how everyone else reacts to it. Imagine what I just said in the tune of the your wine Winnie's boost. Rendering sucks. Yes, it does. It absolutely sucks. I think I mentioned this already earlier in the stream, but if anyone here wasn't there for that, it was a lot of, because there were some people who have asked about the quality of the video from the lighting and the textures and everything, and I mentioned a lot of it just had to do with lowering render time as much as possible. I'm running a 2011 computer on old software, on old hardware, so it's, you know, I don't necessarily have the luxury to use up as much time as possible with rendering. Morgan Freeman can't be Master Xehanort. He only shows up when something good is happening within his reach. Does Sora dies Riku or Axel? I don't know. I think that I think that Eeyore is going to die. I think that he's going to pay the ultimate price. You know, unfortunately, I don't think he can be saved from the darkness. It's really sad. Square Enix should hire you. You got great ideas. Oh, well, thank you. But yeah, I don't think Square Enix would be interested in hiring a 20-something-year-old from America. I definitely wouldn't be experienced in any of the software that they'd be using. I mean, I know they use Unreal Engine 4 for the game, but and they probably use 3D Studio Max for modeling, but I don't know for sure what they do or what they use. But let's see here. You know what they say about Morgan Freeman? They say whenever he does something good, he earns a freckle. Oh, what was that? That was how it should have ended, right? Was where that came from? I think that was how it should have ended. Is Aqua gone? Well, you know, who knows? You know, I'm not gonna say one way or another, but you know, I don't think that it's impossible to save her. I'll just leave it at that because that's something that Nomura himself has said. You know, it's not, you know, but it's interesting to see because there are some people who think she's going to be saved right away. Like some people think she'll only be Xehanort for like 2 minutes and then be saved. I don't think so. And this is just me theorizing here. I don't think she'll be saved until after the Keyblade is forged. Personally, that's just where I'm seeing the story going. And I could be wrong, but, and I mentioned this a little bit earlier, that's one of the things that I really love about that trailer, about including that scene in the trailers, because now it feels like everyone could easily predict where Kingdom Hearts 3 would end, and now it just kind of threw the whole community off balance. And so everyone's talking about all sorts of ideas about different ways that it could end. And to me, that's just really cool, because we haven't really had that since Dream Drop Distance came out. You know, ever since Dream Drop Distance came out, we all just kind of assumed that we knew exactly where everything would leave off. And it's cool to not know that. You know, it's cool to kind of have this era of mystery and speculation, and actually founded speculation, you know, not speculation just based off of, oh, I wonder if, you know, Axel is gonna become best friends with Tigger or something. I don't know. I have Winnie the Pooh on the mind, obviously, but you know what I mean, like something that actually has ground on it. Love your logo. Oh, thank you. What if Ventus dies in Kingdom Hearts 3? Then he dies in Kingdom Hearts 3. I mean, you know, I don't know what to say to that, you know. I mean, I will say this. In my personal opinion, I think that everyone will be saved, but I think that saved means a lot of different things. I think a lot of people like to interpret it as being a literal saving, like, oh, they'll just all come back as real people and they'll just live happy lives. I think that being saved could also just be another way of saying being redeemed or being resolved. In fact, I could very well see it where Kingdom Hearts 3 ends with just the main three staying, just Sora, Riku, and Kairi, and of course the Disney characters. And you know, the other characters could go away. Maybe they fly to Kingdom Hearts or something, or they fly to some sort of version of an afterlife or whatever they would come up with. But I think that the saving is going to be more symbolic than literal, personally. Yeah, even Axel. Yeah, I don't know if Axel will stick around. I mean, he might, but from I and this is kind of where my own personal opinion gets into it. I feel like if Kingdom Hearts 4 is going to move past the Xehanort saga and it's going to try to tell new stories with Sora, Riku, and Kairi, then, or at least Sora at the very least, we know for sure. I feel like Kingdom Hearts 3 should resolve as much as possible, and it should be more of a fresh start for future Kingdom Hearts games, because Kingdom Hearts as it is kind of well known for being extremely convoluted and hard to get into for a lot of people. And even though I don't think it's impossible to understand, it is definitely a barrier of entry for newcomers. And I think it's something that, especially with what Nomura has said during a lot of his interviews, describing how one of the themes of Kingdom Hearts 3 is resolution, I feel like there's a lot of things that are going to be wrapped up, and I think that includes a lot of characters. Again, that's just my personal opinion. You know, I could be totally off base. I could be totally wrong. Who knows? Plot twist: Pence gets snorted. I would not see that coming. I would be genuinely surprised if that happens. Pete has to die in Kingdom Hearts 3. Dude, I feel bad for Pete, you know? He gets like trapped in an alternate dimension for just being a jerk. I mean, gosh, you know, I mean, Queen Minnie, she was a vicious dictator. I don't know if I'd want Pete to die. Sora almost got Norded before. Yeah, I don't think they would do that again, personally. Because once you do a trick like that in one story, you can't really repeat it without having the same kind of punch. Wiz Khalifa for Master Xehanort. I don't think I know who that is. Oh, okay. Okay. That explains why. Yeah, I'm not super big into rap, but okay. That's funny. Although I guess we could say that maybe it was young Xehanort that goes to 100 Acre Wood. You know, he went to Toy Story. He messed with the toys there. You know, he'll go to 100 Acre Wood. He'll mess with the stuffed animals there. And this was an older model I did. This is a model I did back in 2012, I think. Yeah, in May 2012, because this is before Dream Drop Distance even released in America, if you can believe it. So this is definitely an older model. Oh. There's Come Guardian. Gotta refresh the textures here. I don't know how many in this chat have seen the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure video I did on Kingdom Hearts, but that one was a lot of fun as well. It's called Xehanort's Bizarre Adventure. If you guys ever want to check it out, still waiting for Master Xehanort. Gosh. You should stream a gameplay of Kingdom Hearts. Oh, well. See, that's the thing. I'm not too well. I did do a playthrough of Kingdom Hearts 1. If you ever want to see that, if you check out the YouTube channel called Nerd Odyssey. In fact, let me see if I can just link it in the chat. Nerd Odyssey is a YouTube channel that a friend of mine and I are doing. And that channel is going to be more for general stuff. So like we'll be playing games there. We'll be doing playthroughs. We might also do reviews or skits, a lot of live action skits. And so if any of you guys are interested in that or want to check that out, I just pasted the link in the chat. It should hopefully just take you to the channel itself. But anyway, so my friend and I did a playthrough of Kingdom Hearts 1 there. And it's kind of cool because throughout the playthrough, we're adding our commentary on our experiences, both as we're playing it and also when we very first played it for the very first time. Who's your favorite Pooh character? Oh, that is a good question, because one of the things I love about Winnie the Pooh is that all of the characters are really likable and really memorable. Like the thing with the Winnie the Pooh characters is that they're so well written that you can just place the characters in a scenario. Just say like, oh, Pooh, Piglet, and Tigger, they're in a Western. And then the story just kind of writes itself, you know, like because they're just so good at characters. If I was to pick one character that I really like, it'd probably be this guy. It'd probably be Tigger. I just love his positivity, his energy. I love how much fun he has, and even though he can sometimes be a little inconsiderate, that is a bit of a flaw of his, but he never means to be. You know, he always means the best, and I think that's one of the things I love about these characters, that they're all good characters, and they all have their own different flaws, but they all know how to work together and work through them, and I think that it's something that's really valuable. I think, especially, I would say even more so in our modern day, especially with just how divisive everything is. If I was to pick one, it would probably be Tigger, but I love all of them. I love Pooh, I love Piglet, I love Eeyore, I love Rabbit, I love all of them. Let's hear. Whenever Xehanort shows up in the Kingdom Hearts games, you should play the Pillar Man theme from JoJo Bizarre Adventure. I think during my friend and I's playthrough of Kingdom Hearts 1, we made a lot of JoJo jokes during the battle against Ansem when he summoned his guardian. Star Platinum! What about Attack on Titan games? So out of all of my friends, I'm the only one that actually bought the official Attack on Titan game. I didn't buy the second one, but I bought the first one, and it's all right. It's fun. I enjoy it. it's a little too easy for my taste. What I really loved actually was the fan game for Attack on Titan. I think it was by Fang Lee, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm not sure if it's still running anymore, but it was just this fan-made Attack on Titan game in Unity, and it was a lot of fun. It's hard to get into, it's hard to learn at first, but once you really nail it, it's so satisfying to just fly around and kill the Titans, because you have to manually target them. And my friends and I have played that together, and have had a lot of fun with that. Kanye West for Master Xehanort. Jeez. Rue, Tigger, and Gopher. Oh yeah, I forgot about Gopher. Yeah, Gopher. I tend to forget about Gopher because he tends to be he's not you don't see him as much anymore. Mostly, I think, because he wasn't actually in the book. Favorite Pooh character, Eeyore Nord. There we go. I love the Pooh command board and Birth by Sleep. Tigger and Pooh are really good players. What if Xehanort finds Ventus? Ooh, that's a really good question, you know, because that's the thing. Now that because yeah, now that Xehanort has Aqua, he'll have access to Ventus's exact location and theoretically to the Chamber of Waking, and so it's, I don't know, because I'm wondering, because Ventus is just sort of an empty body right now. He doesn't have his heart, so I don't know if Xehanort would want to possess him and use him as a darkness. Although maybe this video could be foreshadowing to that. That would actually be really funny. The the Samurai Jack parody. Shut up! I'm trying to sleep. Maybe in hindsight, I should have turned Ventus's eyes yellow. Maybe it would have been considered prophecy. I don't know. But I don't know. I don't know if, I feel like Xehanort does want to find Ventus, but I almost feel like if Xehanort's totally fine with Ventus being a guardian of light, because I noticed that a lot of people in the Kingdom Hearts community have kind of come to this belief that, oh, Xehanort just wants to put his essence in everyone. He just wants to gnaw everyone. And that's not really his goal. His goal is to create the Keyblade, and he needs both 13 darknesses and 7 lights. And so if Xehanort, theoretically, if Aqua is the 13th vessel, then Xehanort should have everyone he needs. And I don't know if he would probably be just give Ventus to Sora and say, all right, make him a light. Let's have this war. I don't know. So I don't know what Xehanort plans to do. We'll see. It'll be interesting. Let's hear Snoop Dogg for Master Xehanort. My Hero Academia. My Hero Academia is a fantastic show. I've been really good. I've been watching the English dub, so I'm about a couple episodes behind. But I've been really enjoying that show. That's how you do a shonen anime with like a lot of the stereotypes, but do them well. That's one of the things I've really loved about that show, because there's a lot of things that are very typical in anime, but they do them different enough to where it actually feels really, really fresh. Turning Eeyore into a Xehanort clone is absolutely horrid and scarred my childhood forever. Well done, sub. Oh, thank you. I don't know whether to say I'm happy or sad that I scarred your childhood forever. I hope it's okay. Who knows? Maybe it's a cool scar. You know, maybe it's maybe it got like a Master Ericus like scar. You know, he just kind of has the scar streaming line along his face like this. I don't know. So who knows? Maybe your childhood is way cooler now. I don't know. And Lumpy. Lumpy. Oh, the Hefflump, right. Kendrick Lamar from Master Xehanort. Sora will save him. I already know how it's going to end. Deku versus Uraraka. Terra. What about Kingdom Hearts Union Cross? So I have a mixed relationship with Union Cross. I love the concept. I adore the concept. I think it's a fantastic concept. I don't like that it has a lot of the typical mobile game shenanigans of like it's a pay to win game. I'm sorry, that's what it is. You know, I most Kingdom Hearts games I can defend and I can say it's a great game. Union Cross, I I think it could have been good, but it's too pay to win. It's too grindy. It's just kind of a chore to play. If I'm going to be completely honest, you know, I think it has a lot of great ideas, but and it's not a Kingdom Hearts exclusive problem. It's really just a problem with the mobile gaming culture. I mean, that's just kind of how mobile gaming is, and I'll be honest, if Union Cross just dropped the whole microtransactions and the way that the game works, that you have to pay money for all these jewels and you have to pay money for all these medals. If they just dropped that and just made the game like $5 to buy or something, I would just buy the game personally. That's just my opinion on it. If you guys enjoy it, then more power to you. It's just I have a hard time with it. Has the darkness taken you, Ray? I mean, Sora. Yeah, actually, yeah, that's another reference to Last Jedi. Yeah, that was kind of weird. When I was watching Last Jedi, I kept thinking back to Master Ericus, and I was like, huh, that's interesting. I love The Last Jedi personally. I know a lot of people didn't, and I won't start an argument about that. But you know, it's but it was interesting to see just how similar their character arcs kind of were. Although Luke Skywalker definitely had a chance to redeem himself, where Ericus just sort of died, which was rather unfortunate. Although Birth by Sleep does hint at a possible return, and so it'll be interesting. Feel like it would have been better if it had a different style. Oh, that's referring to Union Cross. Okay, yeah, I think it would have. All Kingdom Hearts games are pay to win. Got to get that money to farm elixirs and command cards. I mean, you're not. I would definitely argue that's not the case. I'm assuming it's a joke anyway, but you know, I mean, even previous Kingdom Hearts games, there's not much of a use for money, like, you know. But the Legacy of the Jedi is failure sounded so much like, why do all my attempts to reach you fail? Yeah, it's interesting, and I really loved that theme of failure in The Last Jedi. I thought it was a really cool. It's a really good life lesson too, because I think, especially for me and in my personal life, I know that there are times where sometimes I can let failure hold me back and prevent me from doing anything that I want to do. I mean, even stuff like animation. So here's something I'll actually go ahead and open up for you guys. I'll open up some really old projects that I made. And when I say really old, I mean really, really old. I'm going to have to dig deep for these. But I've actually been doing 3D animation as a hobby since I was, since I was like 9 or 8 years old. Actually, since I was around 8 years old. So around since 2007. And I was, back then, there wasn't a whole lot on the internet that could teach you. So I was mostly just sort of learning by myself and self-teaching myself. But I remember being super hard on myself on a lot of things. And let me see if I can, I really want to try to find one of these really old videos to show you guys. Come on. It's gonna take me a little bit because they're really been. Let's see here. Let me see here. One. Can I find it? I'll find them eventually, but you know, okay, I think I found them. Yeah, here they are. Okay, so oh my gosh, this is so this was Yeah, here we go. So this is from 2004. And the project file is probably going to be broken because, or not broken, but like it's going to have problems because it's so old. But yeah. That's one of my earlier models, and you know, it looks pretty silly. It's actually a lot like if you've seen those what do they call them? Those YouTube channels like Real 3D or Cyber something, or those people that make like 3D animations that are obviously like really bad, but they're kind of supposed to be really weird and cringy. That's kind of what this reminds me of. But this is when I was like really little. I love how like the mouth is just way over here compared to the rest of the body. It's just, oh my gosh. Um, yeah. So this was yeah, this was not a very good one at all. And back in the day, I didn't know how to like name models, so this is literally just the model, but I called it Alcadejo just standing there because I thought I had to name them by animation. I had no reason for believing that. I was just a kid, and so I was like, oh, I just that's how it is. Um, oh gosh, let me see if I can find another one. Here's another one where it's just like this generic like robot freeze-tron. I think I was like making an like an ice themed monster or something. Um, but you know, my point of showing this is how, and to get back to my comments on The Last Jedi, is how when I was around that time, I would make these models and I would be really, really hard on myself. And I would think, oh my gosh, you know, this looks horrible. I'm never gonna, and I would try really hard. I mean, when I was a little kid, apart from maybe watching movies and playing video games, this was all I did. And here's my very first model of Tigger, by the way. Very first model. I made this back in 2004 as well. And yeah, very different from this one. Very different. Just night and day difference between this Tigger and this Tigger. And and I would be so frustrated at myself, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I can't do this. And anytime I was so ready to quit, I was ready to just stop it and be like, you know what, I'm never going to be able to do this. I'm never going to be able to get good at doing faces or doing modeling. And I was ready to let my failure stop me from achieving something. And it's something that still affects me to this day. I mean, even with the models that I make now, I can look at something like this and say, man, I really should be doing better at this. You know, I'm like in my 20s, I should be a lot better because I've been doing this for a long time. And especially when you get the occasional comments on social media of, you know, people that are trolls and like to mess with you, you know, it's easy to get down on yourself and think, oh my gosh, this is horrible. I don't know why I'm still trying. And even if I can look back on this and say it's a failure, I can say that it's not really a failure because I kept working at it. This was a foundation for me. I kept moving towards it. And so this is kind of a bit of a tangent, so I apologize for that. But the point is, that was one of the reasons why the theme of failure in The Last Jedi really touched me on a personal level, because I knew exactly how Luke felt. I knew what it felt like to believe that you want to do something or believe that you were meant for something. And then, you know, through personal failures, you start to lose that confidence and you start to feel, you know, maybe everything that I thought was wrong, or maybe everything that I want to work for is not going to work out. You know, maybe I'm the problem. Maybe everything I do, you know, I don't know if there's an official term for this way of thinking, but you get to a point where sometimes you just can't help but think, you know, maybe I'm the problem. And that's where Luke Skywalker was in The Last Jedi. You know, he felt that he was the problem. He felt that he was so scarred by his own failure that he felt, you know what, I tried bringing back the Jedi and it failed. And you know, I thought it would work. I thought that, you know, I would bring peace to the galaxy, and it hasn't happened. I've looked up history of the Jedi, and it turns out they weren't really that good of people. And so I understood why Luke was feeling the way he did. And even though I know a lot of people have problems with that, there's a lot of people who say, oh, well, Luke would never do that. it was something that I personally appreciated because it made Luke all the more relatable to me, and I understood his struggles, and it was inspiring when he was able to overcome it, when he decided to move past those failures. And so, long tangent aside, I love Last Jedi. And that was kind of the point of that. So I apologize for that really long tangent. I know I've probably missed a lot of comments here. But that's pretty cool. It's not bad. Poor Tigger. Oh yeah, you have a good one. Chaotic Hearts. Yeah, I've been streaming for a lot longer than I thought I would. I didn't think I would get to this. I didn't think I would end up getting this personal, but you know, that's we're all learning something new. But anyway, yeah. So I really love Last Jedi, and I'm looking forward to what they do with Episode 9. You know, it'll be interesting to see where they take the story from there. And of course, I'm looking forward to Kingdom Hearts 3. You know, both of which are going to release in 2019 and not 2018. Did you like Solo? Okay, now here's where I tend to. I don't hate it. That much I can say. I don't hate it. I had a really good friend who I think he described it perfectly, and he said that Solo was the best fan film that he's ever seen, and that's kind of how I feel about it. I'll be upfront. I never liked the idea of doing a Han Solo origin story. Like, I never liked it. Just from the beginning, I always hated the idea. I like Han Solo as a character, but I never liked the idea of just giving a story behind throwaway lines of dialogue. It just wasn't something I really wanted to see. And it's the same thing with the Kenobi movie. Like, I know a lot of people want a Kenobi movie. I personally don't. Like, to me, it's just not a story I think needs to be told. I'd rather focus on newer stuff. I want to expand the galaxy. I don't want to keep shrinking it to the small cast of characters, you know? And so with that said, I think that Solo was okay. It wasn't terrible like I thought it was. I think that John Powell did a fantastic job on the soundtrack. I absolutely love it. I liked it a lot more than Rogue One's soundtrack. And John Powell's just a great musician in general. I mean, he did a fantastic job on the How to Train Your Dragon soundtrack. And so, and I think that Donald Glover made a really good Lando Calrissian. I think he absolutely nailed that role. Alden Ehrenreich, he was okay. I mean, never once did I buy him as Han Solo. If he was anyone else, he'd be fine. But the fact that he was Han Solo, I could just never buy that. Kingdom Hearts in 2019, January 25th. Yep. Yeah. Coming in 2018, we promise. Whoops. Sorry. And then Nomura accidentally tripped and delayed the game to 2019. I'm sure most of you get that reference. I mean, I'm fine with the delay personally, because it's like, after they explained it, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm fine with their decision. Well, thank you, Callum Burrows. Thank you. I appreciate it. Gosh, I'm like scared of like moving the frame because I didn't like I didn't like keyframe this pose. So I just want to kind of keep Pooh here just for the heck of it. Let me go ahead and actually let me go to Sora here. Sora's actually looking pretty mad there. Let's change that up, all right? There we go. That's move his tongue. There we go. Now that's a profile picture. You should make a video where Sora's mom says you are too late, Sora dinner's cold. Oh gosh, now that would be terrifying. Gosh. She comes in with the yellow eyes and everything. Favorite Pooh movie? That would probably be. So my favorite is Pooh's Grand Adventure and The Search for Christopher Robin, and my second favorite is probably the Tigger movie. Pooh's Grand Adventure, Search of Christopher Robin, I absolutely love because it develops the main cast of characters. Like every single character gets a lot of development there, and all of them have their own problems that they need to work out. So, like Pooh, for example, he's feeling lonely. He's feeling really sad that Christopher Robin's gone, and so he's on this trip to try and find him. And he has to deal with that, and he has to deal with that separation anxiety, and it really gets a hold of him later on in the story, and he really gets upset about it, more so than the rest of the characters. And so it kind of shows how Pooh has to work through that, and he has to work through that separation. And then Piglet, he has to overcome his natural tendencies to be afraid of everything. He has to, he has to improve. I mean, there's sections later on where he's afraid of everything. I think an army of like butterflies come in and kidnap him, and they try to drag him off away. And I know it sounds absolutely horrifying as I say that out of context, but I mean, the actual film paints it a little bit in a lighter tone. But he's terrified at this situation, and he's not able to do anything. And later on, he has to learn courage. And for Tigger, Tigger actually goes through a depressive episode in the movie. It's kind of interesting. There's a point where he kind of contemplates suicide. Oddly enough, I know that sounds really dark, and it is, but it's more like he's about to fall to his death, and he's kind of just willing to let it happen. He's kind of like, you know what, I'm not as good as I thought I was, and he was afraid of failure, and that was something that he had to overcome. He had to overcome his fear of failure and understand he had to earn confidence, which was a really interesting take on a character that we know is normally very confident. And then Rabbit, he had to learn to be okay with knowing that sometimes he doesn't have all the answers, because he wanted to believe, oh yeah, just follow me, follow this map, and we'll all be okay. And he had to go through that struggle. And so I absolutely love that movie just because it was a really good character study for all of those characters, and it really pushed them to overcoming their past weaknesses. And Tigger movie had some of that too, and I really love Tigger movie for that as well. But I think Pooh's Grand Adventure is a little better for that, just because it does that for all the characters. Whereas with Tigger movie, it mostly focuses on just Tigger and Roo. But that's where I would place that. Hold up, who's Sora's mom and dad? I don't know. There's someone. It's a mystery. Obviously, it's the same as Rey's mom. It's going to be Obi-Wan Kenobi, or Luke Skywalker, or it's going to be whatever that new female is that they cast for Episode 9. I freaking love that with Star Wars. It's like, I know I keep talking about Star Wars, but it's like every time there's like a cast announcement for a new female lead or a new female character, it's like everyone always goes, oh gosh, it's got to be Rey's mom. Oh no, British accent, it has to be Rey's mom. And I think the Kingdom Hearts community likes to do that too. I mean, what I think for the longest time, people were speculating that Stretzula was I probably mispronounced that, but for the longest time, people were speculating that she was Kyrie's grandma or something, and well, that theory got turned down pretty quickly. um, but favorite Kingdom Hearts 3 world revealed so far, probably the Toy Story one. It's a world that I've always wanted for in Kingdom Hearts for like the longest time, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. And yeah, Monsters Inc. too. I actually always wanted a Monsters Inc. world as well. I always thought Monsters Inc. would work perfectly with Kingdom Hearts, especially with like all the doors that lead to other worlds. I mean, that was perfect for like the Kingdom Hearts motif. That was probably an incorrect word of the use, motif, so I apologize about that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to those worlds more than any other world. But I love all the worlds they announced. I think that I'm really looking forward to the Tangled world. They haven't shown a whole lot in terms of cutscenes, which is interesting. Look at the graphics from Kingdom Hearts 1 to Kingdom Hearts 3. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you know, oh yeah, that's the other thing. I'm excited that we actually have civilians in the Hercules world now. You know, it's not just going to be a soundbite of audiences applauding. You know, we're actually going to have people. It's freaking amazing. I love it. Yeah, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the Big Hero 6 world, which it's really weird that they haven't shown any gameplay of that though. Like it's really weird. I mean, I know Nomura stated a reason why was that they didn't have any of the cutscenes completed, but it's weird that that's even the case because they announced that world so long ago. Sorry, I'm just opening up random projects right now. This is just Ericus's Keyblade, the Master's Defender. Upload or update the materials here. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Big Hero 6. I'm even looking forward to the Frozen world. I've liked what they've shown. And I actually didn't mind Frozen as a movie. I mean, I know a lot of people don't like it for one reason or another. I think it's I'll be honest, I think most people are just still salty that their younger sibling or niece or nephew just kept screaming, "Let it go" to their ears. And I can understand that frustration. I really can. But the movie was fine. It's like, I don't know. I thought it was fine. I enjoyed it. What do you think the remaining Kingdom Hearts 3 could be? I'm assuming you're talking about worlds. They might announce a Winnie the Pooh world, I think. I don't know. I would be very surprised if it turns out similar to my trailer and they end up having Heartless in it. That would actually be kind of hilarious. I highly doubt it, but it'll probably just be a mini game world again. But I could see them returning that. I think there needs to be at least another hand-drawn world, another hand-drawn Disney movie for a world, because so far all the new worlds that they've announced have been computer animated or live action, which is fine. I love all those movies. But you know, I would be very surprised if Hercules ended up being the only hand-drawn animated movie to be represented. So I'd be down for Princess and the Frog. I think that'd be a cool one. I think that they got a really good villain to use for that, who I think his powers just sort of naturally lend themselves to a vibe that really suits Kingdom Hearts. So I think that could be really cool. I don't think they're going to announce a whole lot more worlds though, because I think Nomura said that Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to have fewer worlds than most Kingdom Hearts games. They're just going to be a lot longer. So I think we only got like 2 more Disney worlds, I think, based on what I've been gathering. But yeah, that's just sort of my thoughts on it. I would have loved a Treasure Planet world, but I really don't think that's going to happen since they already confirmed the return of pirates, and so that's already going to kind of take that role as being the pirate world. But yeah, those are just kind of my thoughts. Zooming out. There we go. Deep space. Oh yeah, they could introduce Hawaii. I didn't think about that, but yeah, they could introduce like because they didn't actually go over the Lilo and Stitch section of the Lilo and Stitch movie. So yeah, that they could do that. They would just have to find some sort of justification for how Stitch got from Radiant Garden to Hawaii. That could be cool. Um, Olympus and Pirates look unbelievably amazing. I know, yeah. I was very surprised about Pirates too because I was one of those that used to think I didn't want Pirates to return just because I thought that it looked too jarring in Kingdom Hearts 2, but they really have done a good job with the look of it in Kingdom Hearts 3 and I think what really helps is the fact that they finally changed Sora, Dawn and Goofy to look closer to that world. Um, which I think helps a lot. Like I love Pirate Sora's design and even Pirate Donald and Goofy. Like I love all their designs, and even Luxord looks a little grittier and more realistic in that world than he normally would, and it's really cool. You know, I know what's missing in the scene. There we go. Oh, and there we go. Sora, you're too late. Jeez. Now he doesn't even look like Xehanort. He just looks like a ghost, actually. Oh gosh. I'm actually going to go ahead and render that, see how that looks. Oh, that's rendering. I can go ahead and check, see what the comments. Favorite Disney shows on now. I mean, does Disney have anything going on besides Star Wars: The Force of Evil? I mean, I feel like, well, I guess they have Rebel. They had Rebels for a while, which ended. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't watched as much Disney television as I used to when I was a kid. I don't think there's. Um, I watched the pilot episode of the DuckTales reboots. I keep meaning to go back and watch the rest of it, but I most of the time I just kind of keep forgetting it exists. To be totally honest, because like I don't have cable or anything like that anymore because we just use Netflix or Crunchyroll, Verve, you know, just uh, streaming services, and so I don't really get Disney that much anymore. So I don't know. Um, I've heard really good things about it, um, and I did enjoy the first episode, but I just haven't gotten too into it. Um, I watched the first two seasons of Star Wars: The Force of Evil, and I keep forgetting to watch the third season. Um, I've enjoyed that show. It's not as good as Gravity Falls is for me, but it's enjoyable. But I really loved Gravity Falls. That one was a really good show. And I was surprised too because I didn't think it would be a show that I would like, but I really got into it. Um, I would love it if Disney brought back Tron Uprising, but that has no chance whatsoever. It's really sad too because that first season ended on a cliffhanger, and yeah, same Gravity Falls. Yeah, Gravity Falls was really good. Um, And I actually really appreciated that Alex Hirsch ended it at 2 seasons. Because even though I love the show and I would love to have seen more, I appreciated that he had a story to tell and he ended it when he felt the story was done. And so that was something that I really appreciated. Because you see a lot of shows that are good, but then they just keep dragging on and on and on for the longest times until they just kind of die off. I mean, that's what happened with Fairly Odd Parents, and that's what happened with everyone talks about how that's the state of The Simpsons or Family Guy or all that stuff, but and even SpongeBob, SpongeBob's getting a little better now, but it's still that's kind of a symptom of another show that lasted probably a little longer than it really should have or needed to. Did you watch Once Upon a Time, any of the Marvel shows, Tangled, Big Hero 6 shows, etc.? No, I haven't. I know it's a really boring answer. Yeah, I just haven't watched a whole lot of shows that much lately. A lot of my time has been spent either doing school or work or this, so it's and the shows that I do watch tend to mostly be like a lot of them tend to be anime the more I think about it. But and it's mostly just because it's convenient because I have access to a Verve account. I have it's not my account, but a friend lets me use this, and so it's just a little more convenient that way. Whereas, as I said before, I don't have cable or anything, so it's just a little harder to watch shows that are made by Disney. But yeah, so you guys can kind of see I mentioned rendering earlier in the stream, but I don't know how many of you guys that are still here that were around when I mentioned it. But yeah, a lot of the decisions in the lighting were done due to rendering. I mean, this single frame right here, it may look simple, but this just took nearly 4 minutes to render. I mean, granted, if I wasn't live streaming, this would probably be reduced to like 3 minutes or maybe 2 minutes and 50 seconds, but it's still pretty long. 19 people watch it. What? No, well, it says 16. If it got up to 19, then I mean that's crazy. I know there are people who have kind of come in and out because this stream was again very casual, so I don't expect a whole lot of people to stick around. So that's totally fine if they need to leave. Do you watch any CG anime like Miraculous? Miraculous. Oh, that. I'm assuming that's Miraculous Ladybug. I haven't seen that one. No, I've watched. Well, I guess I could tell. So the shows that I've been watching lately for like the past month was Legend of the Galactic Heroes, which uses a lot of CG for like its ship battles because it's in outer space, and I've enjoyed that one. It's kind of like the better version of All Noah Zero for me. I know they're still different stories, but they're kind of similar in terms of the way they structure their plot. I've also been watching Attack on Titan season 3 as that's been coming out, and I've been really enjoying that. I've been watching, oh gosh, what have I watched before that? Gosh, I'm trying to keep it all in my head because like I tend to watch one show at a time, and so I'm just trying to remember chronologically what I've watched recently. I've been watching My Hero Academia, as I mentioned earlier, which has been a really good show. It's been really enjoying that one. I saw the Garden of Sinners movies about 2 months ago for the first time, and they were interesting. And I think that's a big example of, because I know a lot of people say that Kingdom Hearts is a really convoluted series, and what I always respond to that is I say, well, that's just Japanese media in general. And a lot of people like to say, no, what are you talking about? Most Japanese shows aren't that convoluted. And Really, they kind of are. I mean, after watching Garden of Sinners, I'm like, okay, yeah, Kingdom Hearts is super easy to grasp compared to Garden of Sinners. Okay, it's that show or those set of movies are like, you really need to think when you're watching them. I can tell a lot of them are very symbolic, but it's yeah, it was an interesting show. Um, but I say show, but it's really a set of movies. But it's like a set of 10 movies or so. Um, but gosh, I'm just really trying to think about the different shows that I've watched. I mean, shows that I enjoy in general are like Mob Psycho 100, One Punch Man, um, and I enjoyed Ancient Magus Bride when that was going on. So, you know, it varies. The anime I'm watching now is wait, Bungo Stray Dogs. Sounds familiar. I feel like I've heard the name of it at least. Um, okay, interesting. Yeah, I haven't ever heard of this before actually. Assassination Classroom. I have not seen that one. I have a friend that did, but I haven't seen that one. Um, no, I would definitely consider myself more of a, I guess, quote unquote casual anime viewer, if that makes any sense. Like like I like some anime, but I don't identify myself as an anime fan specifically because there's a lot of anime that I'll just flat out stay away from. Like I don't like Fairy Tail, for example. I'm just going to say that out right front. Um, the but I've shows that I've liked. Like I've really liked Hunter x Hunter. Um, Hunter x Hunter was a fantastic show. I just really wish the author would hurry up and finish the manga, but you know that's not going to happen anytime soon. I loved Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I enjoyed JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I'm actually really looking forward to part 5 coming out in a couple of months. I'm actually really excited for that to finally continue because it's been a while since we had a JoJo episode. Um, let's hear Tokyo Ghoul. I've heard of Tokyo Ghoul a lot, and it's on my to watch list. I have like a list of shows that people recommend me that like I kind of go through whenever I'm done watching a show. Because as I mentioned earlier, I like to watch shows one at a time rather than watching multiple shows at once. So I usually have a list so that way, okay, when I'm done with this show, I'll move on to this show. So so I haven't seen it yet, but that's on my list. Gravity Falls came out on Blu-ray. Yeah, I definitely did hear about that. Hunter x Hunter. I'm trying to watch that. Yeah, Hunter x Hunter is really good. Yeah, I've really enjoyed that one. It's the and it's interesting because when you start watching Hunter x Hunter, it seems like a very basic show, but as you move along, things really progress, and you really start to realize a lot of these characters um, aren't who they may appear to be, or at least in terms of their nature, especially Gon. I mean, I look at Gon very differently after watching the last episodes of like the Chimera Ant arc compared to the beginning of the show, for example. Um, yeah, so the trailer, so it took me quite a while. I've mentioned this before, but the Pooh models for like Pooh, Tigger, Piglet, and Eeyore, those I made way back in like 2012. Um, and the Sora model I made about a month before I made this video. So for the sake of just contextualizing everything, most of these models were already completed by the time I actually started this specific project. This specific project took me about 48 days to make, just with creating each individual scene, I would say about 30% of that time was just straight up rendering, like just waiting for it to render rather than actually animating or anything. I would say, yeah, about 48 days, so a little over a month and a half or so. Brainiacs better announce a Marvel and Star Wars world for Kingdom Hearts 3. If Nomura's words are anything to go by, that's pretty much all but confirmed not to happen. You know, and I mean, I'm not personally against Star Wars or Marvel. Like, I love them, but it would be hard to incorporate them naturally into Kingdom Hearts 3, especially because Kingdom Hearts 3 already has so much going in on it. That it would be a little difficult to even incorporate that. At most, I think it'd be cool to have like Easter eggs, like maybe have like maybe Goofy could get like Captain America's shield or something like that. Could be really cool. I think someone in one of the Facebook groups that I'm over talked about having Thanos as a secret boss, and I actually wouldn't mind that. Just as a straight up secret boss, I actually think that'd be kind of fun. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't. For them to incorporate that into the story, it would be a little difficult to kind of naturally do that. At least for Kingdom Hearts 3. After Kingdom Hearts 3, for future Kingdom Hearts games, who knows what they'll do? Yeah, I mean, even Nomura himself said there wouldn't really be anything like that for Kingdom Hearts 3. So, Keyblade Graveyard. I'm assuming that's a response. I'm just not reading it right. Yeah, speaking of the Keyblade Graveyard, actually, I did let's see if I can find where I placed it. Thanos snapping a finger, half of Kingdom Hearts 3 universe humanity disappearance, so we're out to defeat Thanos. Oh gosh. The elephant enemies were super cool. Are they original design of yours, or you got inspired from somewhere else? So it's actually funny. I kind of feel bad because I've gotten a lot of people praise me for the Hefflump Heartless design. So this was actually me being really lazy, to be completely honest. These are actually the Hefflump Heartless is actually a recolor of a Hefflump model that I've done previously. And I think I still have it open here because I showed it earlier. Yeah, here it is. So this is the original model. All I really did was change the skin blue. I deleted the jacket. I gave him the Heartless strap and yellow eyes. So you can kind of see the difference from there to there. And this model was actually based off of one of the Hefflump characters from the 90s animated Winnie the Pooh series called The New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. Have a good night, Chaotic. Chaotic Hearts, by the way. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. But anyway, so the design is based off of that. So it's kind of a mix. It's sort of original because it is still my model, but the base design came from this, and then the Heartless version is really just, you know, original, the character do not steal recolor version. So that's that. But I appreciate you enjoy them. You know, I appreciate that you like the designs. Favorite 2018 movie so far? Shoot, see, now I have to think about what movies came out in 2018 or 2017. I hate that. I always get them mixed up when I think back on it. Gosh, let me try to pull up a list of what movies actually came out this year, so that way I don't mix them up or forget about them. I've seen a few of them, and there's definitely some that I really enjoyed, but I don't want to leave any out. Oh, these are upcoming movies. No, I'm asking about movies that did come out this year. Oh yeah, there were a lot of really good movies that came out this year. So yeah. I mean, shoot, Marvel's kind of stolen the box office like 3 times this year with Black Panther, Infinity War, and Ant-Man and the Wasp. Let's hear. Incredibles 2 was really good. I really enjoyed that one. I think I liked the first Incredibles a little bit more, but I still really enjoyed Incredibles 2. So that one would be up there. You know, so far it's probably going to be Infinity War. Actually, so far, I was really happy. So I ended up getting to see Infinity War on the first day that it came out. And normally I don't do that for movies, but with Infinity War, I knew it was going to be that kind of movie where spoilers were just going to be everywhere as soon as the movie played. So I went with my friends on like a 9 a.m. showing or something on a Friday, to see it, and really enjoyed it. I was surprised by how far they really went, because I mean, yeah, I know the general premise of what happens in the comics, but like the Marvel movies never really followed that closely to what happens. They're loosely based on what happens in the comics. And so I kind of figured, okay, with Infinity War, especially with Disney in charge of it, you know, I'm sure it'll be dark, but I don't think they'll go as far as, you know, wiping out half the universe. And so when the ending happened, I was genuinely surprised. And I was surprised at who lived and who died. In hindsight, it kind of seems obvious why they did what they did, because it's pretty obvious that all of the people that are gone can easily come back. But and the people that are still alive could easily die, you know, like Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America. I could easily see all of them permanently dying in the next movie. But it was just a really cool film, and I liked how they made Thanos a really complex villain, because I didn't think they'd be able to do that, or even would try to do that. I mean, I don't agree with the rhetoric of, oh, Thanos did nothing wrong, or the people that legitimately think that would have been good for population control. It wouldn't have. It would have caused a lot of problems. But I appreciate that he had clear motivations that were understandable, and they made Thanos sympathetic. And I think the key thing, and I've said this before in my other channel, Nerd Odyssey, but I feel like the key to having a good villain isn't that you agree with them, but that you understand them. And I think that's kind of the key thing between what makes a villain really good and what makes a villain really weak, is, do you really understand where they're coming from? And I feel Infinity War really did a really good job with that. Let's see, what time is it? So it's actually getting really late right now. I haven't had anything to eat at all, so I'm probably going to be ending the stream soon. I appreciate everyone who went and joined on the stream. I know that we had quite a few that came in a few times. This is my first time streaming, so we'll see. I might do something like this again. This was a lot of fun. So I appreciate everyone who came in and shared their thoughts and asked the questions that they had. And so it was a lot of fun. I appreciate it. So you guys have a great day, and yeah, feel free to stick around to the channel. You can contact me on my YouTube channel or on my Twitter, on my Facebook. Twitter is C4DNerd, and same with Facebook. So it's pretty consistent all around. But anyway, I'll go ahead and end the stream. And before I do that, I'll answer this one last question. Favorite Pooh TV series? That's going to be the 90s animated series, The New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. And so Really love that show. It's still my favorite to this day. I don't think any of the shows have ever come close to that one. But anyway, I appreciate everyone sticking around, and I will catch you guys later. You guys have a fantastic night.